I think now, right now, it's better than it has been in years. And in a couple of weeks, it's going to be even far better than that. We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital.
President Trump meeting with law enforcement yesterday in D.C., touting incredible results as Washington sees a reported murder-free week. The president handing out pizza and burgers as a thank you to law enforcement for what he calls a successful intervention in the nation's capital. Attorney General Pam Bondi posting on X just moments ago, writing this. 40 arrests happened just last night, 5 more illegal guns taken off the streets, adding to the 10 seized Wednesday. ICE also making 36 arrests, one of which a suspected MS-13 gang member. Nearly 700 arrests have been reported since the crime crackdown began just weeks earlier. I want to bring in Texas Congressman Brandon Gill. Congressman, talk to me about what you witnessed in Washington, D.C. This is where you, of course, do the nation's work for your district. But the stories of these juveniles, these carjackings, these senseless random attacks, the murder rate in D.C. has been going on for years. Why now do you think that we're seeing this change, besides the fact President Trump said was enough?
Well, that's right, and thanks for having me on. Listen, Washington, D.C. is our nation's capital. It should be a reflection of the glory and the grandeur of the strongest, most powerful, most prosperous nation the world has ever seen. And yet, if you walk down so many streets in Washington, D.C. right now, you feel like not that you're in the capital of America, but you feel like you're in a war-torn third world country. That is disgraceful. That is not the image that we should be portraying to the rest of the world. But more fundamentally, the American people, we don't have to live like this. We don't have to live like we're in the third world. We need to clean up our streets, get these criminals out of our communities and in jail where they belong. And that's what President Trump is doing here. This is a long time coming. This is something that has been desperately needed. But finally, we have a president who is serious about law and order and about creating safe communities for the American people.
Well, let's talk about the fight on the congressional maps right now. California Governor Gavin Newsom advancing his state's redistricting plan, citing 2 bills sent by the Golden State Legislature yesterday, all in an effort to counter Texas's new congressional map. So come November, voters are going to have a chance to either accept or reject the new map in a special election. Here's Newsom yesterday.
This was being done in response from Texas. This was not an organized effort. This was a reaction to an assault on our democracy in Texas.
The new maps could allow Democrats to flip 5 Republican-held seats in the state, Congressman. I want to get your reaction. You know, the editorial board at the Journal says the gerrymander race to the bottom. They write, the parties are at least admitting their raw partisan motives, but they say, look, what happened in Texas is dubious, but Democrats have long done the same. The difference is Democrats have been more aggressive in using courts rather than legislatures to redraw maps, all while pretending to defend democracy or fight racism.
That's right. You know, this is a Democrat Party that has no message and is losing popular opinion and their views in the eyes of the American people is declining rapidly. So they're looking for anything they can do to fight back against Republicans. Listen, California is already heavily gerrymandered. Democrats get about 60% of the vote there, and they've got over 80% congressional representation. You see similarly heavily gerrymandered states across most liberal communities. Illinois, for example, Massachusetts. I mean, Democrats have been experts at playing the gerrymandering game, and this is just another example of that.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, this is something that the Democrats have long been doing, but they now cry foul because Texas did it, again, through the legislature, through the path, not trying to use the courts right. and you know, again, the racism angle. The House Oversight Committee just interviewed former Biden White House spokesman Ian Sams yesterday. I want to get your take on this. This is the latest testimony in the AutoPen investigation. Oversight Chair James Comer gave some insight into the interview. He revealed that the ex-Biden spokesman only saw the 46th president twice in 2+ years of service. And then Chairman Comer also hinted at a subpoena for former Vice President Kamala Harris as they probe former President Biden's mental decline. They say her testimony would be incredibly helpful to unravel the auto pen portion of the investigation. And you've even got these new documents showing even more people inside the Biden White House had raised concerns about what was going on. The Oversight Project obtained these documents from the DOJ. This former Assistant Deputy Attorney General, Bradley Weinsheimer, he raised concerns about Biden's slew of term and pardons for federal convicts. I want to get your reaction to all of this. You, by the way, serve on oversight, so I certainly want to get first and foremost your take on that.
Yes, of course. Listen, these are the people who portrayed themselves as being in the know. Whenever all the American people watched Joe Biden on TV, we could see his cognitive decline. We saw his debate performance. We could see his eyes glazing over whenever reporters were asking him questions. And yet the people who should have been around him, who portrayed themselves as knowing Biden's actual mental state, actually had no clue what they were talking about, and instead lied to the American people and said, what you're seeing isn't the case. I know that he is totally fine, whenever they had no clue. You know, this isn't just an indictment of the Biden administration and the people around him, but it's also an indictment of left-wing legacy media who didn't ask anybody if they had any evidence that Biden was actually as mentally acute as some of the people ostensibly around him were portraying it. This is a huge scandal.
Are you going to call Kamala Harris?
These investigations.
Are you going to subpoena Kamala Harris?
I would like to see Kamala Harris subpoenaed. I think that she should have been close to Joe Biden more than most people, and I think she's got a lot to answer for as well.
Congressman Brandon Gill, yeah, we were anxious to talk about you. Obviously, that committee is doing a lot of work on recess. Congressman Brandon Gill, thank you for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right.